Battle of Isandlwana, the 22nd of January 1879.
There are days when the sun still shines in a bright blue sky. Yet under its light, darkness spreads over human fate. On January 22, 1879, beneath the lone mountain of Isandlwana in the South African plains, the grass was stained red with blood. More than 1,000 soldiers of the British Empire, an army that once dominated the world, fell before Zulu warriors armed only with spears. A tragedy, a legend, and a historical lesson carved deep into humanity's memory.
The lonely mountain and foretold destiny.
Isandlwana, a colossal rock rising 1,350 meters above sea level, stands like a natural sculpture. The locals call it the Crouching Lion's Head, because of its shape, a massive stone protruding from endless grasslands. Resembling a giant beast lying in wait. For them, this place was sacred, a mark of Mother Earth. Here, the British Army set up camp, unknowingly turning a natural symbol into a battlefield. They did not realize that this mountain would become a mass grave swallowing thousands of lives in a single day.
The Zulu, a people of warriors and the land.
To understand Isandlwana, one must understand the Zulu. They were not savages, as Europeans once scorned them. The Zulu were part of the Bantu people, living mainly by herding cattle and farming. Their villages were circles of thatched huts, called kraals, enclosed by wooden fences. With cattle in the center, wealth, identity, and social status, the Zulu were bound to their land, their cattle, their ancestors. Above all, they were bound to their warrior tradition. Every man, upon coming of age, joined the impi, age-based regiments, trained with harsh discipline and unwavering loyalty to their king. Their weapons were simple, short stabbing spears with wide steel blades called ikolwa, named after the chilling sound made when pulled from a body. Their shields, made of cowhide, covered nearly the whole body. From childhood, they trained with wooden swords. They had no rifles, no cannons, but they had numbers, tens of thousands of warriors, and, above all, an iron spirit forged through generations. Before 1879, around 150 years ago, the Zulu had fought many battles against neighboring tribes. Under King Shaka, they had expanded into a powerful empire. Though they had clashed with Boers and British, they had never faced a full-scale war against a global empire.
The British and their imperial dream.
Meanwhile, across the ocean, the British Empire was at its height. Queen Victoria ruled over realms where the sun never set. In South Africa, they controlled Natal, but to consolidate their rule and connect territories, they had to subdue the Zulu, the last strong local force. The British claimed to defend border security, but in truth, it was a scheme of colonial expansion. They sent an impossible ultimatum to King Cetshwayo, demanding the dissolution of the traditional Zulu army. Cetshwayo refused. His warriors were the heart of his people. And so, war erupted. On January 11, 1879, the British crossed the Tugela River into Zulu territory. Confident in their cannons, rifles, discipline, and organization, they believed victory would be easy. But that confidence would lead them into one of the worst disasters in their military history.
Before the storm.
On January 22, the British camped at the foot of Isandlwana. White tents stretched in rows, cannons positioned neatly, supply wagons aligned. From afar, the camp looked like a small shining dot on the vast plain. The senior officers remained arrogant. At their tables, they repeated the word, "splendid," as if this were nothing but a picnic. Meanwhile, many soldiers had not eaten since the previous day. Exhausted, starving, and weak, they still stood guard under the blazing sun. Strange reports came from scouts, sightings of unusual movement, but the British commanders dismissed them, thinking they were only small Zulu patrols. They had no idea that behind the ridges, tens of thousands of warriors were silently surrounding them, waiting for the moment to strike.
The human tide.
At noon, the ground shook. From the east, clouds of dust rose like a storm. A sea of Zulu warriors appeared, blackening the land. They advanced in the buffalo horns formation, the center held back, while the two horns spread wide to encircle the enemy. This tactic had defeated countless tribes before, and now it was aimed at the mightiest army on earth. The cry of Sathu thundered like rolling storm clouds. War drums and horns blared a deathly chorus. Across the grassland, lines of shield-bearing, spear-wielding warriors surged forward like a black tidal wave.
Gunfire and the tragedy of ammunition.
The British opened fire. Martini Henry rifles cracked, bullets tore through the air, and Zulu warriors fell in droves. White smoke covered the mountain's base. For a moment, the British thought victory was theirs. But the Zulu did not stop. Wave after wave pressed forward, fearless of death. Then came the fatal flaw: ammunition. Boxes of bullets were sealed under strict regulations. When soldiers screamed for more rounds, supply officers stubbornly obeyed orders. No distribution without command. Opening the crates was slow, distribution clumsy. Meanwhile, the Zulu closed in. As the last volleys fired, many British rifles fell silent, empty. Chaos broke out. The Zulu tide crashed upon them.
A sea of blood.
Steel clashed. Ikawa spears pierced through red ranks, making that dreadful sucking sound. Cowhide shields protected the advancing Zulu. The British fought back with bayonets, rifle butts, even bare hands, but they were no match in close combat. Trained for firing lines, not melee, they were like calves among wolves. The numbers were overwhelming. More than 20,000 Zulu against some 1,700 British, a ratio of 10 to 1. The Zulu storm engulfed the camp, crushing platoons one by one. Their roars and the soldiers' cries blended into a terrifying symphony of war. The proud British flag, once flying high, was shredded, blood-stained, and finally fell. Within hours, a mighty army was annihilated.
Aftermath and shock.
As the sun sank behind Isandlwana, the plain was littered with corpses, red-coated soldiers, dead horses, shattered wagons. Blood soaked the green grass into dark crimson. When Commander Chelmsford returned, he was horrified. Nearly 2,000 of his finest troops had vanished in a single day. News of Isandlwana stunned Europe. How could a people armed only with spears and shields destroy a modern army? It was one of Britain's worst defeats of the 19th century.
Historical meaning.
For the Zulu, Isandlwana was a song of pride. They defended their land with blood and bravery. Though Britain later brought reinforcements and eventually conquered Zululand, the memory of Isandlwana lived on. For the British, the humiliating defeat left a scar that would not heal. It was a stark reminder that arrogance and underestimation could destroy an entire army. It showed the world that technology and firepower did not always prevail over unity in spirit.
Isandlwana today.
Today, at the foot of Isandlwana, white grave markers dot the plain. The wind still blows, the mountain still stands, the grassland remains silent, yet in that silence, echoes linger, Zulu horns, the shout of Sathu, gunfire, and the dying cries of British soldiers. Isandlwana, 150 years ago, was not just a battle. It was a wound, a legend, a tragic epic. It reminds humanity, on this earth, no empire is immortal. Only the spirit of defending one's homeland endures forever. And if you love stories of historic battles, follow us, you will discover them all.